you filthy animals. Our channel's about as popular as Red Lobster's new all-you-can-drink crawfish lemonade. So we're gonna try something a little different this time. There are plenty of videos out there that debate Paul Verhoeven's brilliant 1997 classic, Starship Troopers. You know the spiel. Is it fascist or is it satirical? Is it critiquing the idea of fascism or is it guilty of flirting too closely with...
Barry, I think it's pretty obvious that...
Coyote!
Yeah, but Barry, I do think it's important that we cover the whole fascism angle, especially at this particular historical moment when...
I don't know what you're talking about. There's nothing noteworthy about our current historical moment. Everything is beautiful and no one's getting hurt. Enough jibber-jabber. Look, we're here to claim that, for the most part, Starship Troopers manages to make fascism look every bit as fun as a trip to the old Dave and Buster's.
And it all starts with the fact that everybody's so young and hot.
That's right, folks. There's a reason why some of the early reviews referred to this movie as 90210 in space.
Barry, nobody's gonna understand that reference. You slipping, bro. How many packs of hot dogs you eat today?
That is a personal question and it's none of your goddamn...
Yo, Mark, I saw him schlepping at least 2 full packs with him into the bathroom.
Listen, our viewers are sophisticated, Mako, and they understand the reference. You shit-ass. Yeah, so it really doesn't matter if they're white, black, or albino. Everybody in this movie is profoundly fuckable.
Even old Michael Ironside?
Of course, Michael Ironside. Ooh, look at that big throbbing fist. Would you like to know more? You get it, Barry? Because that's what the propaganda reels are always saying.
Shut up! Yeah, so everybody's so young and hot and eugenically pure that they help sanitize and normalize the film's fascistic backdrop.
Yeah, all the main characters look like those fake people you see on them posters inside the dentist's office. Now, I know you never actually been to a dentist's office, Barry, so you have to just take my word for...
Now, another potential point of attraction is that these characters are about as deep as a goddamn bird bath. Johnny Rico's family and all of Buenos Aires gets whacked by an asteroid that's allegedly sent by the bugs.
Ah, that's fucking racist, man. You people are always blaming the insect community.
Yeah, so Johnny Rico shifts immediately into vengeance mode, as if somebody flicked a goddamn switch that's tucked inside the crack of his butt chin. No malaise, no angst, no real outpouring of grief. These characters are shit simple.
Goddamn bugs whacked us, Barry.
Ah, that's not funny, dickhead.
And Big Johnny Reeks never has to think for himself either. When he gets promoted to general, he just recycles the exact same stiff-dick drill sergeant routine he picked up from Clancy Brown and Michael Ironside.
Everyone fights.
No one quits.
You don't do your job, I'll shoot you.
myself.
Yeah, it's like nobody's genuine in this movie. They're all just play acting and repeating shit that they heard from their teachers and drill instructors and whatever.
Right, but because they're always firing rifles and steering big-ass spacecraft and performing impressive physical feats, you don't really care that these characters are thinner than the lining of Joey Diaz's prolapse colon.
Barry, why don't these hot little psychos spend more time banging? Do they think they're better than me?
It's because they're a bunch of fascists. They've got very little sexual desire because those urges have mostly been sublimated into an obsession with advancing their careers and improving their goddamn rank.
Good point, Barry. That's probably why Paul Verhoeven insisted on this multiracial co-ed shower scene.
Bangarang Marco. Yeah, this scene may involve some nudity, but if you can manage to ignore all those glistening areolas, you'll realize that it's entirely devoid of erotic energy.
Yeah, but how's that supposed to make fascism seem fun?
Well, it's something of a paradox, you see. Fascism does open up certain opportunities for diversity and inclusion.
Yeah, the Federation don't really care who gets crushed by serving as a cog within the military-industrial complex. You can be black, white, or even Busey. Long as you ain't part of the ruling class, it's all good.
Why don't presidents fight the war? Why do they always send the poor?
That's not relevant at all, Mr. Magoo. Now, the shower scene comes pretty close to describing something I've noticed about our current cultural zeitgeist. Have you asswipes noticed that these days nobody seems interested in banging unless it can somehow play a role in making you rich and famous? I mean, just consider some of the top influencers. Can you honestly tell me that these look like the faces of men who fuck?
Well, call me old-fashioned, Barry, but I still enjoy banging. Would you like to know more?
Bangarang!
Yeah, me too, Fly. I mean, most of the time I can't afford to pay for sex, but it's still the best.
Hey. Nobody want to hear about that big old gun of yours, Barry.
Barry, isn't it also the case that within the context of the movie, fascism gives the characters a sense of purpose?
Yes, of course. Shit-ass.
Sort of like that time you spent a whole year as a male groupie for Hootie and the Blowfish.
Listen. Let Her Cry is an underrated tune, but that never happened. Anyway, let's analyze Mr. Rasczak's off-cited speech on voting and citizenship. Or, I guess maybe he's saying that voting is an act of violence. Something like that.
Yeah, but Barry, you know damn well they're gonna hit us with one of them copyright...
Fine. Let's play a fake version of the Rasczak speech.
All right, let's sum up. This year, we explored the failure of democracy, how the social scientists brought our world to the brink of chaos. We talked about the veterans, how they took control and established the stability that has lasted for generations since. You know these facts, but have I taught you anything of value this year? You there with the distended gut. Why are only citizens allowed to vote?
It's a reward, something the Federation gives you for doing federal service, asswipe.
No, something given has no value. When you vote, you are exercising political authority. You're using force. And force, my friends, is violence, the supreme authority from which all other authorities are derived. Naked force has resolved more issues throughout history than any other factor. The contrary opinion, that violence never solves anything, is wishful thinking at its worst. People who forget that always pay.
So, the Fed is basically running a regime-manufactured consent scheme to make folks believe that the only legitimate thing they can do with their lives is to expire while fighting the bugs?
And if the sun comes up tomorrow, let her cry.
Well, Barry, how do we know that Paul Verhoeven ain't on board with what Mr. Rasczak's saying? I mean, hey, maybe he's down with the sickness, so to speak.
Well, for starters, Paul Verhoeven grew up during the 1940s and 50s in the Netherlands, which were Nazi-occupied at the time. So it's completely reasonable to expect him to critique fascism. But beyond that, I want you to take note of this image of Marie Curie, because...
No, Barry, that's not Marie Curie, bro. It's Hannah Arendt, who is highly critical of totalitarianism. You know, Hannah Arendt. The banality of evil.
That's right, Barry. Arendt is famous for pointing out that some of the world's most heinous evils are enacted not by raving, inhuman lunatics, but by cowardly bureaucrats who are just following orders.
Well, I guess that explains why cast and crew often refer to Neil Patrick Harris's character as Doogie Himmler. You know, because he played Doogie Howser.
Nobody remembers that shit, Barry.
Bro, we gonna talk about the musical score? Because it pretty much proves your point. I mean, it's super brassy and martial sounding. And it's like Richard Wagner got knocked up by John Philip Sousa.
Okay. Let's see how much music we can play before Paul Verhoeven's insane fucking production company whacks us with another copyright claim, just like they did on the Total Recall video. Okay, here we go. Well, there you have it, folks. Hopefully you can tell that the music itself serves the function of satire. Next time you watch this movie, just try to pay attention to how exaggerated and cartoonish it becomes.
I like the idea of music that does the work of satire. After all, Barry, Tchaikovsky openly disdained his own 1812 overture.
Not as much as I disdain you, you mouthy old gas bag. Anyway, let's get back to the subject of Doogie Himmler. Because the stupid uniforms in this movie are yet another method that the film employs to make fascism seem every bit as fun and exciting as waging a completely senseless war against Iraq. War with the bugs. Yeah, they're definitely bugs. It's not a metaphor.
Oh, here we go again. When the chips are down, you can blame the bugs. Y'all humans are a bunch of assholes. But you are right about the wardrobes, Barry.
Yo, I'm getting major Hugo Boss vibes.
Yeah, well, we can all agree that the topic of fascism has no real currency today. I mean, this film absolutely failed in terms of predicting that totalitarian desires might still exist stochastically. Kind of like them parasitic eggs that got laid inside Barry's gut. They just waiting for the perfect conditions so they can break open and...
Yeah, that's well said, Marco. Very poetic.
Yep.
That's right. This film is not at all prescient.
No, not at all. I don't even understand why we're reviewing it. I voted for us to do a video on Ghost Dad, but you asswipes kept saying that...
Barry, you mentioned the bugs, and I think they're worthy of our respect. Woo! Just look at all those sharp legs. Barry, why don't we spend some time explaining why the bugs are so badass?
Now, God damn it, you will put me down on the count of 3. Let go, shit ass. I don't know about all that, Fly. Maybe we'll try it in the next video. Just remember, there's definitely no threat of any fascistic tendencies here in 2026, the year of our dear leader. And even if there were some fascistic tendencies, hey, if you ask old Barry, fascism looks pretty goddamn fun. You get to engage in the old ultra-violence. And they got their own version of the XFL, if any of you shit-asses remember that.
Yeah, and as long as you pledge to spend the rest of your very short life battling a vague, inscrutable enemy who lives on the other side of the galaxy, you'll never go hungry. Right? I was talking about the bugs. The bugs in the movie. I hope that's obvious.
Yeah, we got it, Fly. We all agree that fascism is pretty, based. And there's really no need to send our stinking asses to the detention centers, which definitely don't exist. Okay, that's it for now, asswipes. Please remember to wiggle some buttons if you appreciate fascism as much as we do. I just wish this movie had more currency. And we'd like to close by wishing good fortune to all of our beloved and fascistic world leaders and their extraordinary cocks, which are definitely not small or misshapen.
You know, some women actually say it feels better when it's on the smaller side.
Keep coping.
Dearest leader daddies, great is thy praise.
Great is thy praise.
Gray is my face.
I see you fucked it up again, Bovan. Now we gotta start the whole goddamn thing over. They're gonna send our asses to the gulag.
Long in tooth and soul, longing for another wind, lurching to the fray, whipping out and belly in.
And they're splattered up and down your windshield. The headlights.
They were afraid of dying, but they were even more afraid to show it.
Everything is supposed to be very quiet after a massacre, and it always is, except for the birds.